My mom looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Yena, you're the most useless person in this family." My dad didn't even wait. He laughed, loud enough for the entire restaurant to turn. My brother raised his glass and joked, "Cheers to Yena, the family failure." And I sat there, holding the one secret that could destroy every lie they believed about me. Before I continue, like the video, share it, and don't forget to subscribe. This story will shock you. I knew they planned this dinner to humiliate me, but I didn't expect them to enjoy it this much. The waiter had just placed the menus when Mom leaned forward and said, "So, Yena, still jobless? Still doing nothing with your life?" Her voice was sharp, the kind people use when they want everyone nearby to hear. I kept my face calm, even though my hands were shaking under the table. Dad smirked and said, "Maybe we should start a fund for her. She clearly can't survive on her own." My brother chuckled and added, "She should have just married rich. That's the only way she'd ever have money." Every word hit me like a slap, but they had no idea what I had built in silence for the last 2 years. No idea how many nights I stayed awake building something they never believed I could do. No idea that the useless girl they mocked was the only one at the table who could buy the whole restaurant if she wanted to. But I stayed quiet, letting them dig deeper. Then Mom leaned back with a proud smile like she won. "Yena, honestly, you should just give up. You'll never be successful. People like you just don't make it." The anger in my chest burned hot, but the satisfaction of what I was about to do burned hotter. I lifted my glass slowly, looked straight at them, and said the one line that froze the entire table. "I hope you remember these words tonight. Because after this dinner, everything in our family is going to change." Their smiles dropped. My dad's fork slipped from his hand. Mom blinked like she didn't understand whether I was threatening her or warning her. My brother leaned forward, suddenly nervous, and right when they opened their mouths to ask what I meant, the restaurant door opened, and someone walked in, someone who would flip the entire night upside down. The man who walked in wasn't just anyone. He was the last person my family ever expected to see with me. And the moment he spotted me, he rushed over like I was the most important person in the room. "Yena, sorry I'm late," he said, slightly out of breath. "The meeting ran longer, but the contract is ready. We just need your final signature." My family froze. My mom's jaw locked. My dad blinked so hard it looked like he was trying to reset his brain. My brother's mouth literally stayed open. Because the man standing next to me wasn't some random friend. It was Ethan Brooks, the CEO of one of the fastest growing tech companies in the state. The guy my brother used to brag about like some celebrity he'd never meet. The guy my dad once said, "People like us will never even stand in the same room as him." And here he was, talking to me. Mom forced a smile that cracked halfway. Ethan. "You two know each other," he laughed lightly. "Know each other?" Yena practically built half our new product line. She's the backbone of our new expansion. We've been waiting months for her green light. My mom's face drained of color. Dad swallowed so hard it echoed. My brother leaned back like he got punched. I could feel their confusion sharp in the air, but I didn't explain. I wanted them to sit in that discomfort. I wanted them to feel the same sting they stabbed me with all these years. Ethan glanced at my plate and frowned. "Wait, did I walk in at a bad time?" "You look upset." I smiled slowly. "They were just telling me how useless I am." The way Ethan's expression changed, it was priceless. He straightened, looked directly at my dad, and said with a calm, controlled anger, "Sir, if Yena is useless, I'd love to meet someone you actually consider valuable." My dad had no answer. My mom looked down. My brother scratched his neck, pretending he didn't hear. The silence was deep, heavy, embarrassing in a way they couldn't hide. But they didn't even know the real shock yet, the part that would break their pride into pieces. Because Ethan wasn't here just for a signature. He was here because of something big Yena never told them. Something that would put all of them beneath her in one brutal twist. And when Ethan pulled out the folder and slid it in front of me, my mom whispered, terrified, "Yena, what is that?" I looked her dead in the eyes. "You'll see." The moment I opened the folder, My mom leaned so close it looked like she was trying to read through the paper, but when she saw the first page, her eyes went wide then wider. Because across the top, in bold black letters, it said, Equity Transfer Agreement to 32% Ownership, Yena Carter. Her breath got stuck in her throat. My dad snatched the paper from her like she was hallucinating. My brother stood up so fast his chair screeched across the floor. 32%? Dad whispered, Yena, this must be a mistake. This is impossible. Ethan didn't even blink. Not a mistake. She earned every percent. Your daughter is the second largest shareholder in our company. Investors, and definitely bigger than the people at this table who called me useless since childhood. Mom shook her head, refusing to accept reality. How? How did this even happen? She never said anything. I smiled, letting her panic sink in. I was too busy working to announce every small step, I said softly. While you were calling me a failure, I was building something that actually mattered. My brother pointed at the folder, voice cracking. This is fake. Has to be. Yena, she's not. There's no way. Careful, I said, leaning forward. You're about to insult someone who signs your favorite influencer's paychecks. He froze. Dad tried to recover his pride. Yena, you should have told us. Families share everything. We could have helped. Helped? I laughed quietly. You didn't even believe in me. You mocked me for every decision I made. Mom's voice trembled. Honey, we were just worried about you.
No,
I said flatly. You were worried I'd prove you wrong. The silence burned hotter than their insults ever did. Ethan cleared his throat. There's more, he said, pulling out a second document. Tonight isn't just about confirming her ownership. It's about what happens next. Dad's hands shook. What happens next? Ethan smiled knowingly. Yena is becoming the new public face of our expansion. Press conference. Media coverage. National rollout. Her signature tonight makes it official. Mom covered her mouth. My brother sat down slowly. Like his legs gave up. Dad's face turned red rage, mixed with humiliation. But none of that was the twist. None of that was the real explosion about to drop on the table, because Ethan then slid one final envelope toward me. A heavy one, thick, sealed, with my name printed in gold. My family stared at it like it contained a bomb. Yena, Ethan said, before you open it, I should tell you, this changes everything. For you and for them. The envelope sat there between us, glowing under the restaurant lights, and as my fingers touched it, my dad finally snapped. Yena, what's inside that envelope? I looked up, met his terrified eyes, and said, something you never expected me to have. I slid my thumb under the seal, and the moment the envelope opened, the air around the table tightened. My mom gripped the edge so hard her knuckles turned white. My brother leaned forward like a kid watching a horror movie. My dad didn't blink once. Inside was a stack of documents thicker than the menu in front of us. I pulled the first page out slowly. And when my dad saw the header, he inhaled so sharply he choked. Property acquisition and transfer notice. My mom's eyes darted between me and the paper. Yena, what property? What did you buy? I laid the page flat on the table. It's not what I bought, I said quietly. It's what I now own. Dad snatched the paper, scanned it, and froze mid-breath. Then he whispered it out loud. Like he couldn't believe the words were real. Carter family residence. My brother's head snapped up. Wait, our house? Our house? I nodded. Calmly. Mom gasped. Yena, no, nitrogen monoxide, this is a mistake. Your father owns that house. Not anymore, I said. The bank sold it last month, and I bought it in full. Dad's face twisted in anger, shame, and disbelief. The bank sold my house? Why would they do that? I pay my bills. Ethan stepped in coolly. Sir, you were 3 months behind. Dad's eyes shot to me. You knew, he whispered. You knew we were struggling. Yes, I replied. I knew because the bank called me first. Mom's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell us? Because, I said slowly, after everything you told me tonight, I realized you never would have believed I could save the home you were losing. The shock was brutal. The humiliation. Even worse. And I wasn't done. I slid another paper across the table. Notice with signatures. Dates. Finalized transfers. My brother snatched it.
His face went pale. This says you own Dad's workshop too?
Dad ripped it from him. No, this Yana, what did you do? I saved it, I said firmly. The bank planned to shut it down next week, lay everyone off. I stepped in before that happened. Mom covered her face. Dad sank back in his chair as if the world tilted under him. My own daughter owns my home, my business, he whispered. That's not everything, Ethan said, sliding one more page to the center. She also owns the land your workshop sits on, and the empty lot you always said you'd build on someday. My brother's jaw dropped. So Yena is the landlord? I nodded. Silence. Heavy. Unavoidable. Dad stared at me like he was seeing me for the first time in his life. How did you have this kind of money? He whispered. You never worked a real job. The insult rolled off me now. It didn't cut anymore. I leaned forward, meeting each of their stunned faces. While you mocked me, I was building something you never bothered to understand. Mom wiped tears from her cheeks. Yena, what exactly did you build? I smiled. Everything you said I couldn't. But before they could react, Ethan's phone buzzed and he turned it toward me. Yena, it's starting. My family leaned forward, confused. What's starting? My dad asked. I looked at them, my voice steady. The part that affects you more than anything I've said tonight. The moment I stood up, the restaurant doors opened again and a group of people walked in, cameras in hand, calling my name. My mom whispered, horrified, Yena, what did you do? The cameras flashed so bright my parents flinched back, shielding their eyes. My name echoed through the restaurant reporters, photographers, camera crews all rushing toward our table like I was the only person in the room who mattered. Yena, is it true you're the new majority board power behind Brooks Tech's expansion? Yena, how does it feel to become one of the youngest female tech owners in the state? Yena, is your family proud of you? That last question hit the table like a hammer. My mom's face crumbled. My dad's pride shattered into dust. My brother looked like he wanted to disappear under the table. Ethan placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. She answered one at a time, he said firmly, shielding me from the crowd. But I didn't hide. Not anymore. I stood tall, letting every camera catch the confidence they never believed I could have. One reporter pushed forward. Yena, what pushed you to work in silence for so long? I looked straight into the camera, but my words were meant for the three people sitting behind me, because sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who doubt you the most. And silence is the best place to grow when no one believes in you. A ripple moved through the crowd. My mom covered her mouth, tears rolling down her face. My dad finally understood just how badly he misjudged me. My brother stared like he could not connect the girl he bullied with the woman standing in front of the cameras. Another reporter spoke up. Yena, is it true you now own several properties in this area? Yes, I said. Including the home I grew up in. Gasps. Whispers. Snapping cameras everywhere. My mom broke. Yena, please. We didn't mean. I turned to her, calm and steady. You meant every word, and that's okay. Because I didn't succeed to prove you wrong. I paused, then added, I succeeded to prove myself right. That line flipped the entire room. The crowd went silent, absorbing it like a punch of truth. Ethan smiled proudly. The reporters scribbled like their pens were on fire. My parents? They sat frozen. No more mockery, no more arrogance, no more pride left to hide behind. And then came the final twist. Ethan handed me a pen. Yena, once you sign this, the expansion becomes official. You'll have full control of the West Coast division. My dad's head shot up. Full control. I nodded. Full control, my mom whispered. So, you outrank all of us now. No, I said softly. I just outranked the version of me you tried to shrink. I signed the document. The room erupted in applause. Cameras flashed brighter. Reporters rushed forward with new questions. I turned to my parents one last time. I may own the house, I told them, but respect? That's earned, not bought. My dad's eyes softened with a guilt I waited my whole life to see. My mom reached for my hand, but I gently stepped back. Maybe one day, I said, you'll see who I really am, not who you decided I was. And with that, I walked out of the restaurant past the cameras, past the reporters, past the people who once mocked me as the most powerful, confident version of Yena they never imagined. The doors closed behind me. Their silence stayed. Inside. My future stepped forward,